Before we begin today, I'd like to invite you into a story. A story carried across centuries, across oceans, and across the memories of the people whose voices are often missing from our classrooms. Her name was Amma. She lived in what we now call Ghana, in a village where the mornings were filled with the sound of pounded fufu, rustling palm leaves, and the laughter of cousins who grew up more like siblings. She was 12, around the same age as the 7th graders we teach. One morning, just as sunrise, Amma noticed something she had never seen before. A strange stillness filled the air. Her grandmother placed a hand on her shoulder, a gentle, steadying hand, and whispered, "No matter what happens, remember who you are." Those were the last words Amma ever heard in her native language. She was taken from her village, marched along the coast, and brought to a stone fortress that the Europeans called a castle. Inside, Amma and hundreds of others were forced through an arched doorway that only led out to the sea. Once they walked through it, they would never again step foot onto African soil. This door came to be known as the door of no return. I bring you Amma's story not to burden the children with despair, but to bring perspective. It's important to understand that the history of exploration and discovery must include the voices of not only the explorers, but the explored, not just the conquerors, but the conquered. Not those who set sail by choice, but those who were carried away by force. To teach exploration and discovery without the African perspective, without the African voice, is to teach half of a truth. And half-truths are dangerous, not just for the children, but for us as well. So I decided to include the transatlantic slave trade in our exploration and discovery block. It gave us a chance to explore the idea of forever being changed. What does it mean to never be able to return to something? It also gave us the chance to explore some more perspective drawing, which the children absolutely love. So please enjoy. Let's begin with what you will need. You'll need a pencil sharpener, a pencil, an eraser, a straight edge, and a compass. Before we continue, let's pause for a moment to remember the rules of one-point perspective. Always begin with a horizon line that meets the eye level of the viewer. Place one vanishing point on the horizon line. All vertical lines stay vertical and parallel. All horizontal lines stay horizontal and parallel. All receding lines, anything that moves away from us, must point back to the vanishing point. With these simple rules, you can create the illusion of depth. And in this drawing, that depth helps us feel the narrow corridor leading to the door of no return. Now, we can begin. We want to begin with a horizon line right above the midway point of your paper. When it's time to place your vanishing point, I'd place it slightly left of the midway point of your horizon line. Then you want to make a point on either side of your vanishing point to indicate the width of your arch. I chose 6 inches, 3 inches on either side. Feel free to change that for your purposes. Then you're going to make a line at the bottom of the page and at the top of the page to indicate where your arch will begin and end. Then you will make a vertical line from your top line to your bottom line through your point that indicates the width of your arch on both sides. Now grab your compass and you are going to make the radius 3 inches, which is half of the width of your arch. Your center point will be at your vanishing point, and you'll make your first circle. Then you will shorten your compass about an inch or maybe a little more depending on the width of your stones, and make a second arch. And then you will make a third arch that's about 1/4 of an inch wide. Once that's complete, you'll make a vertical line from the point where your outer circle touches your vertical line that indicates your width on both sides. Now you'll make a line from where your second and third arches meet your horizon line down to your bottom line that indicates the end of your arch. Now take some time to get rid of some of the lines that you no longer need. Now you want to make a horizontal line where the panels will be at the top of your arch. And another 1/4 inch line right below that one where we will write the door of no return. Now you can draw your panels. I chose to draw 6 panels in my image, and they're about 3/4 of an inch apart. As long as all lines are parallel and vertical, you can draw as many as you'd like at whatever width that suits your intention. Now we can begin constructing the stones that line the archway. All of the stones at the top of the arch should be created with lines that converge at the vanishing point. However, as you continue to create your stones, eventually one of your stones will be parallel to the horizon line. Once you get to that point, all of the rest of the lines that make up your stones should also be parallel to that line. Now we can begin to construct the doorway. The top of the door on the left should begin at the corner of your arch and where you will write the door of no return. That line should meet at the vanishing point. The line that creates the bottom of the door should also meet at the vanishing point. Then you'll draw a vertical line to join those 2 lines for your door that is open in the doorway. For your closed door, you will simply make a vertical line that is parallel to the rest of your vertical lines from the bottom of where you'll write the door of no return to the bottom of your archway. Now take the time to create your 3 panels for the closed door. My panels are 1.25 inches long by 1.5 inches wide with 1/4 of an inch space in between. When you create the panels for your door that is open, remember these lines are moving away from you, so they should all converge in your vanishing point. The length of your panels, however, should be vertical lines that are parallel to the rest of the vertical lines in your image. Now you want to create your wooden planks within each panel. I chose to make 8 planks for my closed door and 3 planks for my open door. Now, to complete our stones that line our archway, we are going to draw lines from the lines that we've already created toward our vanishing point. While you can use a ruler here, you can also just follow some of the lines you've already made, which makes it a lot more simple. At any point, you can add the door of no return. As well as your panels on your open door. Now I add a small archway on the inside that indicates where the tunnel ends. I did this one by hand without much measurement. Feel free to use your compass if you'd like. Don't forget your wall that should be parallel to the rest of your walls. However, the bottom of your wall should be a receding line towards the vanishing point. Now, to bring it together, we need to darken our lines. I always remind my students to use their ruler as much as possible when darkening their lines. It makes for a clean finish. If by any chance you feel that your point is getting a little dull, just sharpen it. It helps create nice clean lines. Now that our image has come alive, we can take the time to erase any unwanted lines. For the purposes of this video, I'm going to add a little shading just so you can really see the depth created by the perspective drawing. In class, I gave the students many options. They were allowed to leave this drawing in black and white and just practice with a bit of shading, or they could use a little color pencil, and many of them decided to do both. And there's your finished product. Here is a finished product from one of my 7th graders. Each of them were tasked with writing a poem that expressed what it means to never be able to return to something or to be forever changed. This student writes, "The point of no return. Something as simple as the passing of time, something as special as coming of age, can be so tart as the juice of a lime, or as pleasant as a warm sunny day. In this world, the only constant is change, a thing from which we can never return. Change is a thing that is ever so strange, as mystical as the fires that burn. When you have no options, push ever forward, for there's always hope for those who look for it. When a moment of no return does appear, a time that of options does lack, hold all those special to you near, because there is no going back." Thank you for watching. I hope this was helpful.